Is this motorcycle worth your hard-earned money? Well, after 2,000 miles and 6 months of ownership, I've gotten to know this thing pretty well. So in this video, I'm going to give you a detailed breakdown of the bike. Then we're going to hop on and I'm going to explain to you what it's like to ride. And after all of that, I'm going to give you some advice on whether or not this motorcycle deserves a spot in your garage. My name's Chris with Inland 208 Adventures, and this is my full, in-depth review of the 2025 Honda Rebel 1100T DCT. So we're going to get started by talking about the looks and the styling of the bike. So it's definitely a cruiser style bike with some bobber influence in there. I kind of think it's cool how the frame is exposed, and it might not be quite as pretty as some of the competition, but I do think it's quite a nice looking bike. I love how Honda they took the big old 1100cc motor and just kind of slammed it into a Rebel frame. Yeah, I just think it's a good looking bike. Now, this is the touring model, as you probably have noticed. So with that, you get the Batwing fairing right here, and you get these two saddlebags. And it's really convenient to have the storage there, especially when you're commuting a lot with the motorcycle like I am. And the fairing does help keep some of the wind off of your chest. I would think about getting a larger windshield if you don't want the wind to hit you right in the face. The way it deflects, it keeps it off all here, but it kind of hits you right here in your face mask. So it's not horrible, but it's a little loud. So just something to keep in mind. There are some options there, and I'll have a video on that when I do end up upgrading that at some point. So let's talk about what's new with the 2025 model, because Honda did make quite a few improvements in this year over other years. Starting with the seat, they added more padding to the stock seat. This is not the stock seat. This is Honda's OEM comfort seat. It's $100. I would suggest you get that seat, or you can spend more money on the Mustang or Corbin if you want. But the stock seat is more comfortable than it was in previous years, which is a huge improvement. But it's nothing compared to the comfort seat here. Also new for 2025, they made the controls more forward, which I think is a big improvement for me personally. I do like the mid controls, but having them a few inches forward does make it more comfortable for me. I'm 6 feet tall, and so we'll do some fitment here in a little bit, and I'll show you how this motorcycle fits me. And then the biggest improvement for 2025 is this 5-inch TFT display. This display is awesome, I think. So it's really easy to read, as you can see. It has all the info that you need, and then it tracks like your maintenance schedules and stuff like that. And then in addition to that, it has phone connectivity. So you could control your music, you can even do navigation and things like that. And I have a whole video on the TFT display and how it works right up here in the corner of the screen. And so it's a really, really nice addition to this motorcycle. So since we're already here looking at the screen anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the handlebars. So first off, these are the stock mirrors. They're nothing to write home about, but they work well for me. Some people change them out, but I don't feel the need to do that, at least not at this point. On your left handlebar, you have your parking brake. With this being an automatic motorcycle, you do have a parking brake because there's no gear just to not let it roll. So there is that. So that's something interesting to get used to if this is your first automatic motorcycle, like it is for me. You'll notice there is no clutch lever because it's automatic. Gear up as a trigger switch right here. Your gear down right here for your thumb. It's really comfortable and intuitive to do that. You can do that to override where you're at in manual. And then you also have your light controls right here. So the lights are always on automatically, but then you could flash like that, or you can flip it up to put it in high beams. This is your mode switch, and we'll get into that in a little more detail while we're riding on this video. Here's your horn right there, your blinker, and then this is half of the controls for the cruise control. The other half is on the right-hand side right over here. You turn it off and on there, and then over back on the left-hand side, you can go down to set, up to resume, and then of course just control it by going up in speed or down in speed. I love having cruise control on a motorcycle. This is my first time with cruise control on a bike, and it's like one of my favorite things, especially because I commute a lot with it and I'm on the highway quite a bit. My only qualm with it is that I wish it had a cancel. Kind of like your car, you can cancel it but still keep cruise control on, and then you can set it or resume after. That's my only qualm. There's no way to cancel it. The only way to do that is either to hit the brake, which can be kind of weird in traffic, or you turn it off and then turn it back on. So not the end of the world, but that is a qualm that I have with it. Also, you have your D-pad right here, which controls the TFT display. Now on the right-hand side, you have your kill switch right there, and then also on your kill switch is the starter. Here is like your gear changer, so you have neutral by pushing down right there, and then to put it in drive, you push it up, and then if you want to put it in manual mode, you push it up again to put it in manual. If the kickstand is down, it won't let you put it in gear, so that's why it's not working right now. And then there is your hazards. And then of course right here, once again, is the cruise control on and off switch.
Hey guys, just wanted to take a minute to let you know about different ways that you can support us in this channel. First, you could do a super thanks. It's kind of like a tip. You click the button here and you can choose your amount. The second way to support our channel is a more exclusive way where you can join one of our membership tiers. There's the manual membership. It gets you loyalty badges, priority replies to comments, access to monthly newsletter, member-only polls, and early access to our videos. Then there's the DCT membership, which is a tier up. It's offering all of what I just mentioned, plus you get member-only shorts, shout-outs, and occasional drone photography print mailed to you. This is a fantastic way to support our channel, and we love our members. We appreciate all of you so much. We also have really exciting brand new news to share with you. We have a merch store. You can find links to our store and our channel and underneath this video. We have t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, posters, all designed by Chris, but made for you. Go ahead, take a look if you're interested. Chris and I are really, truly thankful for all the support we get in all the various ways from everybody, whether you're liking the video, subscribing, commenting, and helps keep the good quality content rolling. So thank you so much for all the love and support.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about the gas tank here for a second. So it's 3.6 gallons, which is smaller size for a motorcycle. It is roughly the same as its competitors in that mid-size cruiser category. Now I'm talking the Indian Scout and the Harley-Davidson Nightster. They're all right around that 3.5 gallon mark there. You do get about 50 miles to the gallon with this motorcycle. And so on a tank, if I brought it down to fumes, which I have done a couple of times, I don't suggest doing it. I've had some white knuckle moments. I've gotten about, I think as high as like 170, 175 miles on a tank. I'd probably do it closer to like the 150 mark. Now the TFT display, when it starts getting low on gas, it does tell you what your range is starting at about 60 miles, which is pretty helpful. Now real quick, I just want to talk about the seats one more time. Of course, we already talked about this being the comfort seat. I have this set up for a passenger, as you can see here. So this is Honda's passenger seat. They have two of them. They have the standard passenger seat, which is not this one. It's only has about this much padding. I have Honda's comfort passenger seat that has a lot more padding, as you can see. Cassie says it's plenty comfortable for her. We've gone on a 2-hour ride before together and she didn't have any complaints as far as I know. And then this is Honda's backrest. There are other backrests out there you can get on Amazon or other sites that are just like this or taller. I didn't really want a tall backrest back here, and so I liked Honda's that it was kind of short, and it just gives that passenger just a little bit of added sense of security. Now for your stopping power, Honda does provide you with a single disc in the front and a single disc brake in the back, and this bike does come with ABS standard, which is really nice. Now for your tires, Honda gives you these Dunlop tires. They're okay, they're not the absolute best. That's just something you can upgrade if you want. Now, just as something to keep in mind that I've seen from other YouTubers with this motorcycle, some of them have experienced speed wobbles going like above 90 miles an hour in that range. I haven't experienced that myself, but I'm not really a speed demon, so I haven't gone above 85. That was fixed in all cases with a new set of tires, so just something for you to keep in mind. Now, powering this motorcycle is a 270-degree parallel twin 1100cc class motor. It is very sporty feeling, but yet it's not unhappy on those low RPMs where it's just kind of chugging around. It is a super good, reliable motor, and it's a lot of fun, and it has a lot of power. Now, paired with that is the dual clutch transmission, which does make this an automatic motorcycle, as we've mentioned multiple times. The two together pair very, very well. The shifting points are smooth. You can override it if you want. Now, the riding modes play a large part of how this whole motorcycle goes together, particularly with how the DCT reacts. And we'll talk a little bit more about that while we're on the ride. Now, moving towards the back of the motorcycle, we have the stock exhaust. It isn't the best looking exhaust, but it's not horrible. I'll go ahead and show you what it sounds like. I actually kind of like the sound of it a little bit. I do want it to be louder, and I've mentioned that before in other videos. So that's really my only qualm with it, is that I just wish that the volume was just a little bit higher on there, but I don't mind the sound of it. Now, in terms of suspension, you do have your classic fork suspension, nothing too fancy up front. In the back, you have preload adjustable piggyback shocks. The bike does come with a tool that's underneath the seat that you can use to adjust that. You can do a Google search to find out how many clicks you need to adjust for your weight to tune it to you. I found in my research that the bike comes from the factory tuned for about a 170-pound person. I weigh about 160, so I might have to soften it just a bit for me, but where it comes from the factory, I don't find it too terribly uncomfortable. Now, that being said, I don't have a lot of experience with like really cushy bikes, but I find the bike plenty comfortable for me. So let's just talk about maintenance for a second. This motorcycle just has your standard 4,000 mile oil changes after you break in the bike, of course. Aside from that, just keep an eye on your fluid levels, keep your chain lubed, make sure the chain doesn't get too loose and tighten it if you have to. There is a full maintenance schedule in your booklet, but it's pretty easy. If you decide to do your maintenance yourself, this motorcycle does have 2 oil filters, one for the engine, one for the DCT, and just make sure that you don't over tighten your bolts. I had an issue where I broke one, and I have a whole video about it up here on the top right of your screen. So just be sure to do it not too tight. So let's talk about lighting for a second. So you have LED lighting all the way around. You have like these partial halos in the front that look really cool, especially at night. Your blinkers here are on all the time in the front, unless of course you have them on and they're blinking. And in the rear, it's also LED all the way around as well. So now let's talk about fitment. So I'm 6 feet tall, and you can see I can flat foot the bike really easily at a stop. Now, this is the Honda OEM comfort seat, so it does put me up a little bit farther, at least make it a little bit taller, which is probably better for me. And the handlebars, I think, are at a good height for me. I got a slight bend in my elbow. When I put my foot up on the peg, you can kind of see how this bike fits me while I'm riding. I find it pretty comfortable. Again, I'm 6 foot tall. I don't know that you can get too much taller than me and still be comfortable on the bike. So please let me know in the comments if you're taller than 6 foot and you're fitting the bike well without doing a bunch of mods to it. Now, most of you might remember my wife Cassie from a few of our other videos. She is 5'8", and I think she fits this motorcycle even better. You can see she can flat foot it just fine, and the handlebars are in a good spot for her. And if she puts her feet up on the pegs, you can see kind of what it looks like when she is riding. I think it fits her very well. Her back is straight, and she can maneuver it really easily. She might even be the perfect size for this bike. Well, now is probably one of the most important parts of this video, which is riding this thing around so you can check it out and just see how it is to ride and everything like that. So here we go. For starters, like the handling and everything like that is like really good. It's got a really low center of gravity, so you can really put it down in the corners, and it's got the wide tires on the front that just really hug the pavement. And just like with the smoothness of the motor and the way that it handles and hugs the pavement, it just is really confidence inspiring and a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun to ride. Now this motorcycle was pretty much designed from the ground up to be easy to ride, just give you a more, you know, fun, powerful experience for somebody that isn't necessarily new to riding. And so I really think that it's got a really wide range of people that it caters to. The motor is so fun, you can put your wrist into it and you can get going quick, but then when you need to settle down, it can settle down nicely. And you know, one thing that we should talk about is this throttle here, this throttle by wire. It especially in low speeds, it can get a little twitchy, like it doesn't hold that low speed real well from that no throttle to throttle. And if you're in stop and go traffic, or if you're in a parking lot or something like that, it can get a little bit twitchy. You get used to it, but it's just something to know. It's worse in sport mode. In rain mode, you don't really notice it. In standard, you notice it a little bit. But in sport mode, you do notice it. So, you know, I've mentioned in other videos before, I'm a big proponent in using the rider modes for how they're designed, and to change the rider mode for the different situations that you're in. And I'm going to stick to that even now. I'm going to go down this road nice and slow, because these small towns really take their speed limit seriously. Which, with the twitchiness of the throttle, can be a problem with the slow speeds like this. I've got some nice looking bikes down here, look at that. Another Rebel, nice. Now the DCT, I mostly just keep it in automatic mode. You can override it right over here, and you can put it into manual and do it yourself. I do it sometimes, like if I'm just messing around, but usually I leave it in automatic. Now that I have created my own rider mode, I have a video all about that right over here. I pretty much just leave it in that new rider mode because I feel like I found like the best of all the rider modes all put together, and I really like it. So if you're interested in checking that out and tuning your bike the same way I have mine, definitely watch that video. Yeah, once you have the thing tuned up and you got some miles under it, you can really kind of feel like what this motorcycle, what this DCT is all about. It does like to err on the side of economics, especially in like standard mode and rain mode, where it's gonna change gears a little early in the rev pattern, which is one of the things I changed. Coming from, you know, mostly riding manual motorcycles my whole life, I wanted to be able to I wanted it to shift higher up in that power band there and the rev range, so that it just felt a little more normal to me. So here we're going to come up to some little bit of twisty roads here. You can kind of see the handling here. It's really confidence inspiring, and the twisties is where like this bike really comes to shine. You know, Cassie came into this only riding a PCX 150 scooter. Even though she was fully endorsed, that's all that we had when she rode, and then she never rode again. This is like 8 or 9 years ago. She never rode again until after I got this particular motorcycle, and she was more willing to kind of give it a try with the automatic motorcycle. And she you could definitely check out those videos if you're a newer rider trying to make a decision. It's definitely doable, and she's learned a lot, and she's doing great, and she'll ride by herself now. And it's just a, you know, I keep saying it, it's just a really confidence inspiring motorcycle. It's very easy to ride, it's so fun, it's light, it's flickable. The engine is nice and sporty. You can get up on it like this and just kind of get into that, weave around a little bit if you want, and then when you need to settle down, just let it settle down, and it's just as comfortable going slow as it is riding it crazy. It really is a motorcycle for all different skill levels and all different ages, I think. in particular the DCT, because if you're getting older and you're getting some arthritis, or if you have some kind of disability like I mentioned before, you know, maybe you have trouble pulling that clutch in a standard motorcycle, that's where this bike really comes to shine. Wow, what a view. I haven't been on this road in a long time, and I forgot how nice of a ride this is. It's like right by where I live. It's like 2 minutes from where I live. Oh man, I live in such a pretty area. I'm so lucky. Let's go ahead and take a minute and talk about the rider modes again here. So you have a total of 5 rider modes, 3 of which come from the Honda factory. It's rain mode, which you know, you can kind of figure out by the name what that's all about there. It's made to have a really smooth throttle. You're not going to get all the engine performance out of it. It's made to ride in rain, and if you're a new rider, that's where I would definitely, absolutely 100% start on that mode. Then you have standard mode, which it's kind of middle across the board. You get middle engine output, middle traction control, middle DCT, shift points, like middle, you know, kind of lower in the range but not super low. That's a good mode. And then you have the sport, which everything's just like turned up all the way, except for the traction control, which is turned down all the way. So, you know, you're going to get all the engine power. Your DCT is going to change gears higher in the rev range. And yes, you can wheelie this motorcycle. I've never done it personally, but I've seen plenty of videos of them doing it. Maybe one of these days I'll surprise you guys and wheelie for you. And then the other 2 modes are user modes, where you can create your own user modes based on how you ride. So the user mode that I mentioned before is I kind of took the best of both worlds from standard and sport and made my own. So I really like it. Definitely watch that video if you're interested in how I did. I really think I came up with, in my opinion, it's the best rider mode that you can have on this bike. Gosh, it's just so nice to get out. If you don't have a motorcycle and that's why you're watching this video, because you're thinking about getting your first bike, or maybe you have a motorcycle or a scooter and you're just looking for something with more power, definitely do it. This is just, it's a fun hobby, it's a fun sport, it's a fun way to get around. You feel so freeing. It's hard to describe, but it's just such a freeing feeling, just being out on a bike like this, out in the elements, and it's just such a fun way. Even if you're just like riding to work, it makes your ride to work fun. So, and then when you're leaving work, you know, you're stressed out or whatever, it's like the absolute best stress reliever to just commute home after work on a motorcycle. Like, by the time I get home, I pretty much had forgotten all that crap that may have happened throughout the day if I had a rougher day. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and bring this thing back home, and we'll go ahead and tie this video all up for you, and I'll let you know my final thoughts. So the 2025 Honda Rebel 1100T DCT is a fantastic motorcycle. I have loved every mile out of it. I get a smile on my face every time I sit down and ride, and the value for money is fantastic. I mean, when you're talking about the other motorcycles that it's competing with in the same class, you're paying quite a few $1,000s more for similar features. So who is this motorcycle not for? This motorcycle isn't for somebody who is super, super tall, definitely. I think we've established that. You don't want to be too much taller than I am at 6 foot even. Also, if you're looking for a motorcycle that's more of a performance cruiser that the spec sheets are really high on horsepower, really, really high on torque, that's not this. I haven't found myself wanting any more power than this, but you know what you want if you're looking for something that's more of a performance cruiser. Also, if you're somebody who's really not into the whole idea of the DCT, then this motorcycle is not for you either. Get the manual one. It's still a fantastic motorcycle. I got the DCT because I thought that it was innovative, and I also thought it would be easy for Cassie to get into. So who is this motorcycle for? Well, it's pretty much for everyone else. It's meant for people who want a good value for their money. It's meant for people who want to get out and have fun, and maybe somebody that either is into the innovation of the DCT like I am, or maybe you're partially disabled and you can't work the clutch. This motorcycle is absolutely for you. Now let's talk about new riders for a second. I think we've established in the video right over here with Cassie that you can safely buy this as your first and only motorcycle. It is for new riders that can keep themselves in check. If you're not too much of a daredevil and you're going to allow yourself to grow into the motorcycle, keep it in the rain mode, and get comfortable with it before you start dialing it up, then this motorcycle is for you as a new rider. But only you know yourself. So if you're somebody that you're not sure that you have the ability to keep yourself in check, this motorcycle is not for you. This might be your last motorcycle that you own. Well, let me know what you think. Is this motorcycle right for you? Is it not right for you? Let us know in the comments. A special shout out and thank you to all of our channel members. And if you found this video helpful and informative, please consider giving it a like and subscribe to this channel for more Inland Northwest adventures and of course, Honda Rebel 1100 content. Just like this video right here where I tell you the top 5 things that I love about my Rebel 1100 and the top 5 things that I hate about it. And until next time, my name is Chris, and don't forget, don't just lean into the turns, lean into the adventure.